Hey Dirty fam, it's your girl Tanea Marcia Silhouette. So I'm actually doing something backwards from what I usually do, because I usually talk to y'all on the way to the office, but I'm actually leaving the office and I'm heading to the bank for a bit, and then going to meet a client back on the Hollywood side of town. So I'm about to leave this Las Olas area and go back to that side. Anyway, so this is my outfit of the day. I am casual today. Okay, it's the dirty outfit of the day. And what I need to do today, I did my meeting with the probation office, and I worked on printing out some. Why is my thing turning? Sorry about that. My tripod is turning its head. I printed out an explanation of the Dirty Method Fitness program, so I can hand a packet, a physical piece of paper, to my client, because she wanted a detailed explanation, but she didn't want it digitally. She likes to look at things on paper. So I just printed that out at the office for her, and I'll be giving that to her when I meet her. So then when I'm done meeting with her, I'm gonna go over, I'll probably start working on her nutrition plan and her physical fitness plan, and whatever of the other 7 pillars of fitness she decides that she wants to be coached in, which is why I'm giving her the printout, so that she could decide, besides nutritional and physical fitness, which of the 7 pillars she wants me to coach her in. And then working on the website and the app. So, okay, that's what I got going on today. Now, the word for today, in my one-on-one time with God, I am still in 1 Samuel. I'm actually finishing it up. So I read 1 Samuel chapter 28 all the way to like 30. And then I also read 1 Chronicles. And it was basically talking about the part where Saul, I feel like I need to stop moving because this thing keeps turning. It was talking about where Saul, King Saul, the Spirit of the Lord had left him already, because he was constantly disobeying God and letting his flesh get the best of him and giving into the jealousy towards David instead of understanding the blessing that David was to his kingdom, and he was really just battling with his flesh as well as the evil spirit that God sent to him. Because listen, yeah, God did send that evil spirit, but he didn't send that evil spirit to him until he himself disobeyed God. And then, so that's one point I want to talk about, right? And then another point I want to talk about is that when he got desperate, when he was over there trying to find David after David fled, after his son basically took David's side, after his daughter took David's side, so basically his own inner circle's like, dude, I'm not riding with you on this because you're wrong. So now his people are leaving him. So now he's getting desperate. He's like, yo, I'm trying to consult with the Lord, but I'm disobeying God. So God's not hearing me because I'm in my flesh. I'm not even like, God's not listening to me because I know I've been disobedient. So now I got to find somebody that can consult with somebody to tell me what to do. Even though I know I'm wrong, I'm getting desperate. And so what does he do? He goes and consults with a witch. He consults with a witch, and she's like, yo, what you want to do? And he was like, yo, go raise up Samuel from the dead, the prophet Samuel, who had already passed away. Raise him up from the dead and tell him to go talk to the Lord, since the Lord don't want to talk to me. And then ask him, like, basically, how can I defeat David? And so the witch does her little witchcraft, and he talks to who he thinks is Samuel. And even Samuel, whoever he thinks he's talking to, is like, bruh, like, if God ain't gonna hear you, you think he's gonna tell me something for you too? Like, you about to die. You about to die. I'm about to see you. You and your children. You about to die because you just going off the reservation. So even when he consulted with the witch, he still didn't get what he wanted. So then what does he do after that? He's still out there trying to find David. He ends up in war, and he gets, to the point where he's about to get killed by the Philistines, by the enemy. And he's like, yo, man, I don't want these people to say that they got the best of me. So he tells one of his servants to take him out so that the enemy won't get the satisfaction of killing him. And his servant's like, nah, I'm not going to do that. So what does he do? He falls on his own sword. A lot of things to talk about, okay? And I'm not going to get super long-winded with y'all, but it's just like 3 points. When you choose to sin, even if it's something that you think is a small sin, sin is sin in the eyes of God, right? But when you choose to go in a direction that is away from God, it opens a doorway to a bunch of mess. And then when you try to get out of that situation, the best way for you to get out of that situation is to run back to God. Now, people could argue, oh, well, he tried, he reached out to God and God didn't hear him. That's because he reached out to God in his selfishness. He didn't come to God with a repentant heart, with a contrite spirit, like humble, like, yo, I messed up, Lord. Can you hear me? He didn't come to God like that. He came to God still trying to get what he wanted instead of what he knew was right in the eyes of God. So there are a lot of times we're in our mess, right? And then we cry out to God, and you'll hear some people like, oh, don't call on God now. Well, when we say that, we're not saying don't call on God like he left you forever. We're saying don't try to get in your mess, right? Put yourself in a bad situation and then call on God to get you out of it just so he can get you out of it. That's what we're saying. But if you find yourself in a situation where you know you messed up and you call on God because now it's like, yo, man, I really need you, Lord, and I'm sorry and I mean it, then yes, that's what we want you to do. We want you to call on God. That's what you should be doing. That's what I did. When I did what I did, when I decided to drink and drive and I got into the accident and somebody died and it was my fault, I called on God. Not because I wanted him to get me out of the situation, although I did want mercy, but I also called on him because I said, Lord, I can't keep living like this. I need you to help me change. I can't keep going down this path. I need you. And even if you don't get me out of this situation, I'm going to need you more than ever because I'm going to be going through this punishment and I need you with me. Help me to be better so I don't end up in this situation again or worse, dead. So the problem with King Saul is he knew what it felt like. He wasn't ignorant. He knew what it felt like to have the Spirit of the Lord over him. He knew what it felt like to be led by the Spirit. He knew what it felt like to be in the presence of the Lord. And the Lord blessed him. The Lord gave him the kingdom. And not just any kingdom. He made him the king of Israel, the first king of Israel. That's an honor. And what did he do? He threw it all away because he let his flesh get the best of him. And yes, we all do that to some degree. We let our flesh get the best of us. But the biggest mistake he made was when he did it, he did not humble himself. Instead, he only reached out to God to try to get what he wanted. And what he wanted was against the will of God. He even said this earlier in the earlier chapters, like, and David's coming to him like, dude, why are you trying to kill me? I'm not even against you. I'm not your enemy. You know what I'm saying? And he would even say like, yeah, you're right. I know you're going to end up being better than me, this and that. Like when he did humble himself earlier in his life, he knew the truth about the situation, which is that, look, God called David because you couldn't get right. God said, all right, I'm going to find somebody else. He knew. But because he was jealous and he let his jealousy and his flesh get the best of him, his heart got hardened. And that's why God sent that evil spirit to torment him, because it's like the same thing he did with Pharaoh. He didn't harden Pharaoh's heart until Pharaoh already hardened his own heart. Then God's like, okay, fine. You gonna do that? Well, listen, I'm gonna show my glory either way. I'm gonna show my glory whether you follow me or not. Somebody is gonna let it be known that God is God. And we have a choice in our free will to be on his side or against him. There's no in between. There's no gray area. Okay? Once you know the truth and you're not ignorant to the truth, you have no excuse. And so I come to y'all today basically to say this. It doesn't matter how many times you mess up. As long as you have breath in your body, you have a chance to get right with God. But when you come to him and when you cry out to God, and the people are, oh, now you want to cry out to God? Yes. But you need to do it with a contrite spirit, with a humble heart. Not because you're trying to just do it to get out of your situation. And then when God gets you out of that situation, you go back to doing the same stupid stuff. Because it's stupid. You know why it's stupid? Because you know better and you choose to do it anyway. That's stupidity. It's not ignorant if you know better. The people that don't know, they do ignorant things. But then when they're educated on what's happening, you're not ignorant anymore. You're just stupid. So I hope that y'all understand. I hope y'all are blessed with this word. Read 1 Samuel. Read about Saul and meditate on that. Understand. See where you can see yourself in him. Because that man was going through it. But he put himself in that situation. But just because you put yourself in situations that you know are wrong doesn't mean you can't get out of it. Because God is still showing you grace and mercy by the fact that he did not take you out for that sin immediately like that. Because he could have, because he's holy. Instead, he keeps you alive so that you have a chance to humble yourself and say, Lord, I need help. Get me out of this situation so I can do better and repent, which means turn from my wicked ways and walk in obedience to your word. So help me to do better. Help my heart to be soft and my heart to be good to where I can now do right. And so that's my word for today, y'all. I hope it blesses y'all. And I will see y'all later. Peace.